Hello everybody and welcome to my channel 5 Minutes Coaching with Max. Today I want to talk about the two most common ways that people use to pursue happiness and love that will never get you there. After I tell you what they are, you may think, no Max, I don't do that. I don't rely on those strategies. And yet, I'll invite you to ask a couple of questions to make sure you don't, because in most cases, people hold those beliefs unconsciously and they act accordingly without being aware of it. Following this principle has never led a single person on earth to experience those states. Let's look at them one at a time. Number one, the wrong strategy to pursue happiness. I want to do everything that I want. The underlying belief is, if I do everything that I want, I'll be happy. And the behavior that reveals that beliefs is that when you want something strongly, you go for it even if you know that it will not bring any good into your life. And by the way, this is what I used to do in the past. For years, I chose what to do based on the intensity of my desire. If I wanted something badly, I would go for it. And I was proud of my philosophy. But guess what? It never led to happiness. Now, I've changed. Whenever a desire arises, before I do anything about it, I stop and I ask myself, is this going to add to my happiness or take me away from it? And if the answer is no, it wouldn't add to my happiness, I put it aside no matter how badly I want it. Because my purpose is the state of happiness. And what I do is just the means to the end. If what I feel like doing doesn't serve the purpose of being happier, what's the point of doing it? I stay away from it. The question that you want to ask yourself to see if you hold that belief is, do I ever do something just because I really want it, even if I know that in the long run it won't make me happier? If the answer is yes, unconsciously you hold the belief that says, if I do everything that I want, I'll be happy. In that case, you need to change that. This is it. I don't need to add more to this point, as a few days ago I recorded a video entitled Happiness Comes From Who You Are, Not From What You Do. And in that video I talk about the quickest way to happiness, the one that leads to instant happiness. I highly recommend. So now let's move to myth number two, the most common ways that people use to pursue love that will never let them experience that, which is, I'll do everything that they want. The underlying belief is, if I let the other person do everything they want, and if I do for them everything they want, they will love me. I must admit that I used this strategy in the past for quite a while without being fully aware of it. And it was tough to admit it to myself, to let it go, because I was afraid that if I stopped saying yes to them, they will just walk away. But then, when I realized that my unfulfilled relationship will come to an end despite my effort to please the other person, I finally had my epiphany. The one that I want to share with you today. Here it is. Very important. People don't love you because of what you do for them. They love you for who you are. They come to love you because they respect the type of person that you represent to them, and they feel attracted to that kind of person. The only behaviors that can boost that attraction are the ones that reflect the type of person that you are and that they fell in love with, period. Conversely, if you start doing everything they want, they may stick with you not because they love you, but because, guess what, you're handy. On top of that, the attitude of trying to do everything the other person may want or need prevents you from having a well-defined personality to their eyes, which is the essential requirement to be attractive. Who are you? Who is the person behind this pleasing machine? Wonders the other person. Your personality starts to fade away as you try to please the other person, and that alone makes attraction impossible. It kills attraction. Of course, I'm being a bit extreme here, just to point out that trying to do what the other person wants you to do is just the wrong way. The question to ask yourself to see if you hold that belief is, do I ever say yes to somebody, even when it feels right to say no, thinking that it may disappoint them? If you do that, even occasionally, you need to change. I'm not saying that you need to force an opinion or a choice on somebody, but at least say, I'm sorry, this doesn't feel right to me, let's talk about this. Say that 100% of the time that you feel that way without fear of disappointing them. Those few words, those few magical words can bring your relationship to the next level. You see, in conclusion, these were the two most common strategies to experience happiness and love that has never allowed anyone to get there. If you're living according to those principles, let them go. They just don't work. Instead, these are the two paradigms that I recommend in the pursuit of happiness and love. Number one, happiness comes from who I am, not from what I do. I'm committed to doing only the things that the person that I want to become will do, and only the things that will allow me to become that kind of person more and more. Paradigm number two, people love me for who I am with them, not from what I do for them. I'm committed to always act congruently with who I am, because that's the person they fell in love with. Well, I hope this makes sense to you. That's all for today. Bye for now from Max Leone, and I'll talk to you soon.